Hello. So we learned about the load balancer. So we'll look into the storage side of the GCP. We have explored the GCP's storage side during the snapshot test stream. We'll have kind of recap and we'll deep dive a bit more about the disk. As starters, when we create the instance, we have options. Let's take an example. Step 1 is my server. I'm E2, and when I have to create during the creation phase, I have option to attach the extra disk. So there are two options. One is persistent and another one is a local. So the difference between the persistent and the local is persistent is any disk on the network, and whenever we access the data, it has to go through the network. And the local disk is a disk on the physical server, and this option will be available once you select the right image. In let's take an example of n2 which gives us a performance. In here we have the option to add the local disk, and the thing is disk can be of 365 to disk of 365. So these are the local disks physically attached to the server from which this particular VM is hosted. So this is a difference between the persistent and the local disk. As of now, what we'll do, we'll create a one disk, persistent disk, and we'll see what operations we can perform on this disk. We'll keep it 11 GB and we'll create. So we have this disk. We'll SSH to this server. So these are an extra disk which has been created and attached to the server. In here, if we'll go, this disk 1 is the persistent disk. We'll create the partition. We'll write this disk. We'll format this, and I'll just create T1. And I'll write some data. So this data has been written, and this is the way we can make the use of the disk. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and expand this disk. We can see in here this disk is attached to SIP1. I can go click on this disk. We can expand the disk from 11 to 15. We can schedule the snapshots for this particular disk, and like when we learn about the asynchronous replication, we'll understand the concept of the CGs. So if now I'll go in here and check the configuration, you'll see the disk has been expanded to 15 GB and 11 GB has been formatted. So in here we can write the data. So this is how we can expand the data. So make sure you take the backup because existing data has been deleted, the procedure in which I have used to expand the disk. So take the backup of the data and then follow this procedure, otherwise you might lose the data.